Thanks for joining us on the weekend edition of National Focus. I'm your presenter, Tasia Floissac. Coming up, Dominica's infrastructure being described as the best it's ever been, an education revolution ongoing in Dominica, and Prime Minister Skerrit meets the Vice President of Venezuela. Details of our headline stories and more after this.
Dating a minor is unacceptable.
Having sex with a minor is unacceptable.
For more information on child abuse or to report suspected cases on child abuse, contact the Social Welfare Division on 33 Great Marlborough Street or call 266-3020 or 266-3080.
Thanks for staying with us. Honorable Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit held talks on Thursday with Vice President of Venezuela, Jorge Alberto Arriaza. The Dominica leader, along with Minister for Petro-Caribe, Reginald Austri, and Minister for Foreign Affairs and CARICOM Affairs, Francine Barron, held discussions with the Vice President and the President of Petro-Caribe, Bernardo Alvarez, at the office of the Prime Minister in Roseau. The meeting gave both parties the opportunity to discuss several matters related to Dominica's agreement with Venezuela.
Well, I had a visit from the Vice President of Venezuela and also the Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs of Venezuela. Essentially, they brought a message to me from Venezuela to discuss all the economic agreements which we have with Venezuela and to see how we can advance some of those economic agreements which we have. A number of them relate to the operations of Petro-Caribe, for example. And one of the major points that we've been discussing in Venezuela on is the issue of the procurement of bitumen for the surfacing of the roads, because that's a challenge we have. And so the Venezuelans have in fact given us a firm commitment under the Petro-Caribe agreement. They have a quota for us of about 200 barrels of bitumen per day, which is our request to them. The President has in fact approved of that request. It's now for us to operationalize it. And also we advanced the discussions on the abattoir and the coffee plant. And also there's a regional project which the Venezuelans have been working, we've been part of it, which I cannot speak of specifically, but it has to do with an acquisition in the region that involves Dominica and some other countries. That we believe that if it can come through, it will redound to the benefit of all the countries concerned. So really the visit was to review the agreements which we have, the understandings which we have with Venezuela, to see how things are working so far as our cooperation on the ALBA, our cooperation on Petro-Caribe. So that's essentially the message which the Vice Minister brought to us here today.
The Dominica Labour Party is continuing to transform the lives of Dominica's citizens through education. Honorable Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit says since 2000, there has been an education revolution in Dominica that will continue. He was addressing a town hall meeting in Maho on Thursday, where residents got the opportunity to discuss with members of Cabinet the 2015-2016 national budget and any other concerns.
When we came into office in 2000, only 44% of all primary school graduates had access to secondary school. And both the party and the government mandated me then as Minister of Education to bring a program to the Cabinet to advise it on how are we going to achieve universal access to education in Dominica. And the plan which we presented to the Cabinet indicated that we would have achieved universal access to secondary education by 2007. So we set our target for 2007. And the government, the Labour Party, was able to achieve that objective of universal access to secondary education in 2005, 2 years in advance of the stated goal.
Access to tertiary education has been significantly improved over the last 15 years.
When we came into office, we commissioned a study. That study was done by Dr. Donald Peters and Dr. Thomas, both Dominicans who were working in the diaspora at the time. And we commissioned a study, and the study revealed that we in Dominica, only 7% of all high school graduates had access to the college. 7%. You could not build a modern society if you did not have a proper program to educate our people. And then today as we speak, we have set the platform by the investments we have made in teacher training and the investments we have made in the physical infrastructure of the State College.
$66.8 million has been allocated to the Ministry of Education in the 2015-2016 national budget. The next town hall meeting is scheduled for next Thursday in the Kalinago territory. The Dominica Labour Party administration has allowed Dominica's infrastructure to be the best it's ever been. So says the Honorable Minister for Public Works and Ports, Ian Pinard, while making a presentation at the first in a series of town hall meetings on the 2015-2016 budget. Honorable Pinard says over the last 10 years, government has spent over $535 million towards the development of the country's infrastructure.
This is an average of over $53.5 million annually being spent on improving roads, bridges, city fences, air and seaports of our country. Within the context of the small island developing states, this may be deemed as a commendable achievement, particularly realizing that this is happening at a time when the developing countries are experiencing tremendous difficulties in replacing their aging infrastructure. Over the past 10 years, the government has invested roughly $402.7 million on roads, bridges, and city fences, which represent 75% of the total investment sum. At the same time, this achievement must take into account the tremendous threat and hardship caused by climate change on our island states.
As of June 30th, 2015, the percentage of main roads in good working condition have moved from 25% in 2007 to 65.3% in 2015, an increase of 40% over an 8-year period. In this financial year, government will continue to undertake major infrastructure projects, including Layu Rehabilitation and Construction Project, funded by the Caribbean Development Bank, to the tune of $36.1 million.
This project comprises on the rehabilitation of river and road infrastructure along the Layu Valley, between Hillsborough Bridge and York Valley Bridge, and between York Valley Bridge and the Pocasset roundabout. We shall also include the dredging works along the Layu River, roadway alignment and construction at sections affected by floods, construction of river walls in critical sections, construction of an emergency shelter for the Layu village, installation of early warning system along the river to warn of flooding, which has been installed. The Ophelia Rehabilitation and Construction Project, funded by the Caribbean Development Bank, $16.4 million. This project comprises of cliff stabilization and road rehabilitation at 2 locations in the Roseau Valley area. The first location is the base of the Santa Roma Back Road, where we'll widen the section of the road to make it much safer. Also, the construction of sidewalks to the community high school. And the second area is the widening of the road to the Midland Falls so that the falls can be more accessible. The York Valley Bridge Project, $8.2 million. This project is funded by grant assistance from the government of the People's Republic of China. This project will see a brand new 2-lane bridge at York Valley.
$33 million was allocated to the Ministry of Public Works and Ports in the 2015-2016 national budget. You're watching National Focus. Stay with us.
Dominica is blessed with an abundance of water, but getting it to your home is an expensive venture. You have a responsibility to conserve water, to use it wisely. Remember the old adage, you never miss the water till the well runs dry. Think water, think life.
You're watching GIS.
Welcome back. The government is embarking on a number of initiatives to reduce the crime rate in an effort to make Dominica a safer place. Honorable Minister for Justice, Immigration and National Security, Reuben Blackmore, revealed what his ministry is doing in that regard. He was addressing a town hall meeting on Thursday to discuss the 2015-2016 national budget.
Government is mindful, however, that the police cannot fight crimes alone, and will continue to embrace the partnership between the Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force and the Dominica Association of Industry and Commerce, Crime Stoppers International, other stakeholders, and the community at large. I want to say to you that the partnership with the Crime Stoppers International continues to bear fruit. The Dominica Police Force has been mandated to develop a national community policing program for the express purpose of reducing and preventing crime. A specialized unit will be established within the police force to place emphasis on raising professional standards within the police force. These measures are critical in regaining the public trust by the police, hereby setting an environment for a peaceful and safer Dominica.
The welfare of children is also a concern.
There has been tremendous discourse on the safety of the most vulnerable in our mix, our children, and this is very critical. In that regard, attempts will be made to review the existing Sexual Offences Act and other relevant pieces of legislation to ensure that our children get the maximum protection they deserve.
11.4% of the 2015-2016 national budget goes to the Ministry of Justice, Immigration and National Security. Farmers in the East Agriculture region had the opportunity to display foods produced in their community on Friday. Farmers displayed dashing vegetable crops, potatoes and onions at the Castle Rose Farmers Service Center. The Honorable Minister for Agriculture and Parliamentary Representative for the area, Johnson Drago, as well as the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Harold Geist, Director of Agriculture, Ricky Brumant, and a team from the Chinese Agriculture Mission formed part of the delegation attending the symposium. As part of the occasion, a greenhouse funded by the Agricultural Mission was also officially commissioned.
The greenhouse is to provide vegetable seedlings for the entire district from the Kalinago territory to Piritsupu. I need, and I have been saying it, I need to see more backyard gardening going on in my entire constituency. We need to be eating healthier, and the easiest way is by helping ourselves. You may not be able to establish a large farm, but every able-bodied member of this area can afford to have a celery, side, tintin, gluten, and some lettuce somewhere in their yard. There is absolutely no excuse for that. You would have to be sick for you to be unable to do that. The seedlings are going to be sold very, very cheap because we'll be employing 2 young men at the greenhouse to take care of the seedlings.
The mission has also committed to continue providing seedlings and will also train farmers in seedling production. In addition, the mission will provide equipment and tools. Seedlings that will be available from the greenhouse include watermelons, tomatoes, cabbage, celery, sweet peppers, eggplant and cauliflower. The greenhouse cost an estimated $55,000. The Honorable Minister for Information, Science, Technology and Telecommunications, Kelva Daru, says Dominica is making significant strides in the ICT sector, particularly through assistance from the National Telecommunications Regulatory Commission, NTRC. In his address at the House of Parliament last month, Honorable Daru said this is evident through numerous completed and ongoing projects initiated under the NTRC. This includes implementation of free Wi-Fi access at the Dominica State College and plans for similar services at the Botanic Gardens.
Through the National Telecommunications Regulatory Commission, the NTRC, we've just completed a major project that had to do with the Wi-Fi access at the Dominica State College. That project cost to a tune of $682,000, and we can now boast that the entire Dominica State College is now a Wi-Fi zone, and I have been advised that the Wi-Fi access even goes all the way down to Goodwill, Stock Farm, and these areas surrounding the college, which is very good for the communities there, and of course in keeping with government's policy to drive and to move the ICT sector forward, where we make access and broadband coverage available to all citizens.
It is anticipated that this technology will also be introduced to rural communities on the island. Honorable Daru says there are also plans to enhance the country's emergency response system to ensure state-of-the-art services for swifter and more reliable assistance during emergencies. He says the nation's physically challenged will not be forgotten in the new financial year.
We cannot forget our physically challenged individuals. They're also part of our society, and we'll be working along with the Alpha Center on a project under the NTRC to facilitate and improve and upgrade internet access at the center and to make the learning environment there more conducive with innovative tools for the physically challenged citizens of our country.
The Honorable Minister is confident that Dominica is leading in the OECS as it relates to the implementation of ICT-related programs. He says action taken by the Dominica Labour Party government proves that the administration is serious about ICT development.
Recently, Cabinet took a decision to have the ICT unit as an established post now. This is a decision that Cabinet has took, Mr. Speaker, and I believe this is a decision in the best interest of driving the sector forward and ensuring that within the public service we can continue to see emerging technologies being developed, and this of course will continue to go hand in hand with what has already been established, where we now can access birth certificates, death certificates, marriage certificates online, Mr. Speaker. We now have the government civil registry system. Again, this allows for persons to go on there and to find out information. The tax e-filing system, where individuals now can fill in the income tax online without going to the Inland Revenue Division and doing it the traditional way.
And before we end this evening's news, an announcement from the local government department. Applications are invited from suitably qualified persons for the post of caretaker at the Tarishpet Public Bath. Applicants should be a resident of the community, committed, of sound character, and interested in community development. Applications should be addressed to the Local Government Commissioner, Local Government Department, High Street, Roseau, to reach no later than Friday, August 14th, 2015. All applicants meeting the requirements should expect to be called for an interview. Salary is set at the recommended government rate.
You're watching GIS.
And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website news.gov.dm. Like our Facebook page, facebook.com/GIS News Dominica, and follow our Twitter at GIS Dominica. You can also catch up on past National Focus newscasts on our GIS Dominica YouTube channel. From all of us here on the GIS News Production team, I'm Tasia Floissac. Thanks for watching and have a wonderful weekend.